In this section, we will discuss flipping up from and back down to basic set position. We will discuss an open version, tight version, holster version, and a technique we call drag and lock. When you are working on flip-ups, keep in mind that you are not actually flipping the cymbals all the way around, but you are simply performing a small wrist roll that gives the illusion of the cymbals flipping. Here's a good way to practice the wrist roll. Start with your cymbal out in front of you, then push into the cymbal with your thumb and let go of the cymbal strap to let the cymbal roll out from the pinky edge. Let your wrist roll around slightly and then end up back in the start position. It helps to work on the wrist roll in this position until you get comfortable with it and then put it to motion. For the open version to vertical port, you will start in set position and initiate the wrist roll and the movement from the shoulders away from your body at the same time. Let the wrist roll continue as you head towards the vertical port position, then finish the move with a snap in vertical port. To flip back down, you will start by bending at the elbow, letting your hands fall away from you at a 45-degree angle, and let your wrist break away slightly so that the top edge of the cymbal rolls over and down at the start of the movement. Let go of the strap and let the cymbal roll down throughout the entire movement and finish by snapping it into the set position. This version is much faster and sharper looking than the open version. Starting in set position, you will initiate the shoulders followed immediately by the elbows moving away from your body. You will not start the wrist roll until you are halfway up to the port position, then finish the move with a snap into port. With both versions of the flip up, there is a basic rule regarding the degree of flexion in your elbows. You want to maintain the same amount of bend in your elbow from set position up to port position. To flip back down in the tight version, you will initiate this movement forcefully, leading the elbow down and force your hands away from you at a 45-degree angle. Let go of the strap and let the cymbal roll down when you are halfway through this movement. Finish by snapping it into the basic set position. We refer to this style of flipping down as the holster version because it is similar to how an old gunslinger would spin his gun around and then down into his holster. From vertical port, you will initiate this movement by dropping your elbows down, then lifting your elbows and bringing the top edges of the cymbals down towards each other. Perform the wrist roll movement described earlier, keeping the cymbals at head level. Finish by bringing the cymbals straight down to your sides to the basic set position. To flip up to either of these two positions, you will initiate the flip and perform the wrist roll just as you did in the open version that we discussed earlier, but midway through the move you will start pushing with the pinky edge of your hands to lead you towards the chest plate or faceplate positions. Flipping down from both of these positions will be performed just like the open version of the flip down that we previously discussed. Bending at the elbow, let your hands fall away from you at a 45-degree angle and let your wrist break away slightly so that the top edge of the cymbal rolls over and down at the start of the movement. Let go of the strap and let the cymbal roll down throughout the entire movement and finish by snapping it into the set position. Both of these holster down versions will be performed almost exactly the same. They will just start from different positions. Initiate this movement by lifting your elbows and bringing the top edges of the cymbals down towards each other. Perform the wrist roll and bring the cymbals up to face level. Finish by bringing the cymbals straight down to your sides in the basic set position. For the open version, starting in the basic set position, you will initiate the flip up from the elbows and perform the wrist roll at the same time, but lead the cymbals in towards the center. After the wrist roll, you will pull the left cymbal into horizontal port by pulling in with the pinky side of your hand and lead your right cymbal into position with your index and middle fingers. Be sure to finish with a small snap into the ending position to show a definite finishing point. To flip back down, you will initiate the flip of the right cymbal from your index finger and thumb, moving out and away from you, and bring your left cymbal straight down. Or you can flip it down also. Perform the wrist roll with the right cymbal when you are about halfway down and finish down at the basic set position. To holster down from horizontal port, you will initiate the movement by lifting your elbows and bringing the top edges of the cymbals down towards each other. Perform the wrist roll and finish by bringing the cymbals straight down to your sides in the basic set position. For the tight version, you will initiate the movement with your elbows and perform the wrist roll when you are closer to the horizontal port to give you a faster and sharper looking flip. The flip down will initiate first with the elbows also, and perform the wrist roll when you are closer to basic set position again for a faster and sharper look. We use the holster version of the flips to move from port to port. Starting in horizontal port, you will initiate the flip from the elbows and push downwards with your thumbs to initiate the wrist roll. Let the wrist roll continue as you bring your arms up towards the vertical port and finish by snapping your cymbals into the vertical port position. To flip back down to horizontal port, initiate this movement by lifting your elbows and bringing the top edges of the cymbals down towards each other. Perform your wrist roll and start bringing your cymbals towards the horizontal port position. Finish by snapping into horizontal port. You don't always have to flip up to your port positions. Sometimes you can be very effective just performing the drag and lock technique. Starting from the basic set position, you will initiate this move with a pop down towards the ground, then drag the cymbals up slowly to vertical port and then give them a tight lock into position. Simply reverse these steps to go back down to the basic set position.